welcome again to the Shake Up with Dr. Kid. I'm just here, just hanging out with you, um, just making sure that things are going well with you. I hope everything's going well. I know the world is a lot of stuff going on out there, and I'm just hoping and praying that whatever's going on, we'll find some solace from that. The Lord will be good to us. A lot of losses, tragedies out there, air on the land. And also we have a political climate that has some uncertainty to it, and so we need to be very careful about that. Be very watchful about that. Also we do have this is our Black History Month. Uh, and it's ours. It's that month that was given to us, bequeathed to us by you know. When the truth of the matter is, every month is Black History Month. Every day is Black History Day. Every moment is Black History Moment. Why? Because people are always making history every single moment of every day. We just don't find them. Why? Because good news don't make news. That's why. Good news don't often make news. So we just kind of just go with what's bad out there. So anyhow, welcome to the Shake Up with Dr. Kit. What we're going to do tonight is I'm going to be going solo. We're having I'm kicking off the Black History Month here by myself, just kind of taking a look at Black History Month and the way we celebrate it. And there might be some meanings that we're missing. There's some stories behind the stories that we're missing, and we want to reframe some things and take a look at some of the things about Black History Month and expand some things in terms of our understanding on where we go with it. So just kind of just hang in there with me, okay? And we're going to make sure that everything is all right. Everything will be all right. And so I would like for you to do what you always do: like, or follow, share, and subscribe, just so that this show can remain viable. Make sure you tell everybody that's got access to some kind of system like this. Just come and hang out with us every Monday evening at uh, at 6. All right, and then also, if we'd like for you to be a part of the show. So how do we do? What do we want to do? We want you to go to my website, Dr. Kid Speaks, at gmail.com. Dr. Kid Speaks at gmail.com. That's not my website. I'm sorry. That is my email. Dr. Kid Speaks at gmail.com. That is my email. All right. But I'd also like you to go on my website, Dr. Kid speaks.com, drkidspeaks.com. When you go on there, you will see a whole range of things that I do, some of the areas that I work in, that have some degree of proficiency in. Um, and please go on that, drkidspeaks.com. All right, this evening we're going to be looking at, and we're going to be looking at Black history. I want to kick it off. And what I want you to do is to participate as much as you can, more than you being participant. I want you to respond to some of the things that I'm going to be saying. Some of them may be troubling. Some of them may be more may be new to you, reframed ideas. Okay, and so we're going to get right into it. Um, and then of course the rest of the month we'll be doing some other things with Black history. Okay, and I'm coming to you from Diversity Within the Black American Experience, a global overview. An overview means that we're really taking a large umbrella approach to it. You open up the umbrella, keeps the rain off of you, and this is what we're doing: a global overview of what it means for us to participate in the Black History Month. The Black History Month is really a Black history experience. It's really a Black experience that we make history every day of our lives. That's what we are doing, and it's not just 1 month out of the year. So we're looking at this, all right, and normally, and I take great pride and great respect for those of us that have gone on before, that paved the way with their lives. Sometimes, we can think about, somebody like Dr. Martin Luther King. He comes to mind every time. He paid the price. He said, "I might not get there with you, but we all gonna get there someday." And that he was not afraid of dying. And we cannot be afraid of dying either. But it doesn't mean that. But then we got to be very intellectually astute and be careful about humanity and how we interact with people, always in a positive way. All right, so we're going to take a look at the Black experience here in America from a global perspective. So we're going to put it in perspective. Like I said, we normally go with those, W.D. Du Bois, Rosa Parks, some of the really great people who have paved the way for us, and we're not looking down on them, but we're going to broaden it today. So the current African American social system consists of a complex global mosaic structure. And by that I mean it's like having a jigsaw puzzle. Okay. And so it's this every jigsaw puzzle is very complex. Okay. To cut all of those pieces, the way those pieces are cut, and to cut it in such a way that no two pieces in there fit in the same place. And so it is with this global organizational structure, this mosaic. No two parts of any cultural structure is going to fit. So we're going to take a look at some of these cultural overlays and how some of the cultures actually add to the American experience. There's a lot of that, so we look at that. So it consisting of, and so what happened was that it started out here for us in the Western world, in America and other places. We'll talk about that in a minute. With consisting of forced displacement from their homeland. That's what happened in Africa. They were forced displacement. It's like somebody coming into your house and just grabbing a hold of you and taking you out of there. Now, let me just say this here. You know, I was talking with somebody maybe a couple of days ago, and and they said that they were they were given instructions from the superintendent of schools to say that if ICE, that's there's a drug enforcement, DEA, people kind of that. If they come into your school, you cannot stop them. They can disrupt your class, and they can take any child they want that does not fit the norm of being a legal now, does not fit the motif of being a legal immigrant. All right, so that's what it was like for the slaves back in way back. And so we discovered, 16, 15, 16, way back, so we discovered that there is some of those same kind of trepidation that went on back then that are going on right now. And so back then, people from the West, the British and the Germans and the Spanish, and they all went over there. Were going, to get these people because slavery existed before we were put into servitude, but we were strong and big and robust, and so they needed our kind of work to get the work done. And so what they do, they just went to Africa. What did Africa know? Africa did not have the kind of technology, to protect itself. They were still using the kind of material weaponry that they had at that time at their disposal, and it was not superior to what the people in the Western world had. And so they were overpowered. They just went in and took them out of their place of comfort. Family members, broken families, tears everywhere. And that's how it started. They didn't go in and ask. And it says about 38,000 were shipped directly to the United States. 38,000 were shipped. But that's only a part of it. 12.5 million Africans were forcibly taken across the Atlantic to, to fulfill the transatlantic trade deficits that they had back this side. And so there was a loss of, or not enough uh, manpower to get the job done. And so out of that 12.5, 12, those 388,000 were shipped to the United States. All right. So they didn't have to come here. There was no passport necessary. And now we're talking about, if you don't have a passport, you may be gone. So it's a kind of a backflip of that whole thing, that whole scenario. A whole scenario. So now they were in fear over there, and there are people in fear here. And we're talking about black people. We're talking about, you know, anybody that and I guess that I don't know if they're going after people that don't look like us, that are illegal. That I don't hear that on the news. So I'm just wondering. However, this 12.5 million 388,000 in 1619, a group of about 20 African captives were brought to Point Comfort, Virginia, uh, by English people who seized them from the Portuguese slave ship. So they were okay. So 6'5". Thank you for my. How do you feel? How do you feel? Blacks are going to fit into the puzzle of the USA with all the changes that are happening now. Okay, thank you for that wonderful question. I think, and now this is just me, because it's a great question. I think that, like I said, this puzzle, and I wish I had a puzzle. I have a puzzle in my office in a cage. And what happens here is this: the puzzle pieces, they fit directly into specific slots, which means that where do we fit? We cannot fit somewhere where the people who makes the puzzle don't want us to fit. So we've got to fit where they put us. Not only do we need to fit where they put us, but we have to behave in a particular way in order to fulfill their needs. Now, that is what I call neo-slavery, because now I don't even have, they're taking away my opportunity to think about what I want to do, where I want to go. I can't, how am I going to take care of my dependent family members? So how do you feel about blacks are going to fit into the puzzle? It's going to be a tight squeeze. It was a tight squeeze with people coming over on those ships from Africa. They were piled one on top of the other sometimes in their feces and their vomit and all of this kind of stuff. That's where they were. And some of them jumped overboard just to escape all that. Lord, I just hope that we don't get to that place where we feel that the best way out is to take our lives. I'm just hoping that something can be done. But fitting into this puzzle means that there will be a lot of discomfort, because the people who are creating the puzzle, they are not going into a position where they're going through any discomfort. In this USA, with all the changes that are about to happen, and they are happening even now, and we are hearing things like, we're not here, we're not here legally. And the thing about it, somebody was raising the question and say, listen, many of us now will have to, and we're talking you know, about African Americans. And I'm not saying that back in the day, in the 16, 1700s, I'm not saying that there's something wrong with that, but we cannot go back and live now because of that. Because of that, we are able to live a different quality of life now. I get that. And I thank those who have gone through all of that. I lift my scalp to them. I do all of that. I do all of that. But we must now focus on the difficulties and the problems that we're having now as African Americans in this country. And it's no time for us to be fighting and backbiting and trying to scalp each other. That's not what we do. We should do what? It's time for us to say to ourselves, and I love the words of this song. It's time for us to say to ourselves, he ain't heavy, he's my brother. We should be willing to carry each other's load as much as we can. We should be willing to uh, to promote each other however we promote each other. We should be willing to validate each other. We should be willing to just be there for people. We love to say, well, I got your back. If you got my back, do you know there is my both flanks, my sides, and my front is left wide open, wide open. We need to be able to cradle people within the arms of our love and use our resources not to build bigger barns, not to drive faster cars. Because when we do all those things, we are putting money into the banks of those who are oppressing us. When we do that. And I'm not saying that we can escape some of that. Don't get me wrong, please. But wherever we can make a difference in this new age of the African American experience, we need to do that. We need to be creating and carving out our own lineage as we move forward. We need to be doing that so that people can say, not wait for 10 years down the road, a decade, down the road to say, man, those guys were good. We need our neighbors to be able to say those things like right now. We are some good people. We have some good people who care about us, people who care about it. So yeah, thank you for that. With all the changes that are going on now, there is nothing that we can do about those changes. Let's go back to Egypt and the pharaohs and the children of Israel. The children of Israel could do nothing about it. Pharaoh said, "Listen, the second Pharaoh said, man, you're going to make bricks without straw. The tally will not go down, but you're going to make bricks to do what? To satisfy me at your expense." And so we find that even now, these days, with the leaders, not of this country and the leaders of the free world, and now it's almost like everybody's shaking because we are so uncertain about what will happen. Okay, so yeah, thank you for that question. It is a mind stirring question to know that we are there, and sometimes there is nothing we can do about that. We're talking about about the diversity within the Black American experience. Diversity here, biological diversity, sociological diversity, educational diversity, financial diversity, spiritual diversity, diversity in every way possible. They used to talk about a salad bowl. The thing about a salad bowl, you can go in the salad bowl and pick out all the different pieces. It's time for us to blend. When you put your stuff in your blender, and you can see all the different pieces. When my wife makes smoothies, she put a whole bunch of stuff in the blender. First time she did, I was wondering, man, what's it going to taste like? But when she hit that little switch and that thing starts spinning and going around, there is no separation at that time. None. No separation of that. And so we discovered that in this blender, we have a mix that now comes together, whereas before we had fragmentation over here, but the mix came together. It doesn't mean that you lose your input into the mix, because if your input was not there, the mix will be different. So you're still there, even though you may not be able to stand out. But we're not here to stand out. We're here to stand together. You hear what I just said? We're standing together. That's the whole issue here. And if we don't do that, Everybody that is left outside on the fragmented periphery, they will be destroyed, and they will be wondering whatever happened to the person who said, "You ain't heavy, you are my brother." And we are indeed our brother's keeper. That's biblical. We are indeed our brother's keeper. Okay, so they went and they took our people. Okay, Tracy, William, certain communities are asking, where are Black Americans, and why aren't we protesting, and marching? Okay, we actively told everyone to go to the polls and vote. What an amazing question of yes, absolutely. We told people, they told me, I told people, go to the polls and vote. And I don't know if everybody who could have voted, but some people just went into some kind of malaise. They just had it. It don't matter. We know what's going to happen here. Don't matter, don't matter. Well, if we take that attitude, Tracy, then we get what we get. We actively told everyone to go to the polls, and people went to the polls. But now, here is your question, though. Why aren't we protesting and marching? Listen, it was effective back in the 60s. It was. Now, they have, and it worked really well. They have now, well, not without some problems and some death and some dog biting and some fire hosing, always these troublesome parts that comes with peaceful demonstration for our rights, when we do have the right for peaceful demonstration. But the problem is sometimes what happens, they get us to the point where our emotions become so troubled that we lose our capacity to hold on to a mind frame that says, don't do this. And some of us explode. And the moment we explode, they attack. Now everybody goes into attack mode. You know, it's hard. In other words, they play us into that, and some of us got played into that, and then we wonder why things happen, because we lost self-control. We need to keep self-control. Protesting means we are protesting. We are protesting something that we don't like, and we need to make sure that we protest in a way that the outcome will draw us closer to what we like and what we want. And so we're marching. Thank you for that great stuff. Marching, you know. So one of the most effective ways that has brought many companies to their knees is when people go on strike. Listen, I'm gonna tell you why. We have lost sight of the fact that power get prescribed by executive order, get prescribed from the top down. Those who are atop, they prescribe our behavior from the top down. But here is the truth of the matter. Do you know that every slave person back in the day, if they say we're not going to work, even if you kill me, I'm not going to work, there will be no rich white man. They ain't going to go out there and do it. They're not going to do it. So they need us. But then some of us say, listen, I got to eat. All of that stuff is really good. Nothing wrong with that. But we can, but we're going to have to come together and say, listen, we need to have a march. We need to have peaceful protesting. We need to let them know that we will not be robbed of our right to decide for a self in a country that has where the Constitution is built on rights like liberty and justice. Y'all can finish the rest of that. It says for all. Liberty and justice. It doesn't say liberty and justice for those who look one way and not so for the other. Okay, it doesn't say that. Liberty, justice for all. Absolutely. And so therefore, if we can organize, we can do all of these things. There's nothing wrong with organizing. And we're not going out there and create a whole lot of mess. That's not what we're going out there for. But the problem is, there is a cost to everything, a huge cost to everything. Whenever we try to do right, there is a cost, and it's always going to cost us. But I tell you what, sometimes listen, I'm willing. I tell you, I am willing to pay the ultimate cost for my children and grandchildren. I'm not suicidal, so I don't think I am, but I'm willing to pay the ultimate cost. If for freedom for my children, freedom to think, freedom to act, freedom to do, freedom to go, all of these things, listen, we cannot live in a social corral where they put this huge fencing around us physically. But before they can even begin to put a huge fencing around us, they got to condition our mind that that when they put this huge fence around us, they will throw some bone in there like dogs, like the dogs. We're not dogs. We are human beings. We are human beings, and we should not be treated like that. We should not allow. We are dignified people. And we should not allow ourselves to go down the road like that. Okay. Neither should we fight and carry on like we don't have any sense. And that's what it is. Man, this stuff is so and it's so deep because now we have some of our young people and not so young people who have not thought this thing through, and they have youthful omnipotence. Omnipotence means all power, and they think that if they have youthful omnipotence, they can go out and conquer the world. No, the world is too big for your youthful omnipotence, my young people. It's too big. And I'm talking about African American, the system, very complex globally. Listen, when you go out there and you get shot, you know what? Here's what happens. When you go out there, you get shot. We just lost a preacher, a teacher, a sociologist, a criminologist, oceanographer, astronaut, a brain surgeon. Every person that lose their lives prematurely. If we would just, and they have to listen. If we would, and they have to listen, that we could be so much further along. Listen, I'm every now and then you do this too. You do this too. Every now and then you got to plug your computer in or your cell phone or something into the wall or an outlet so you can juice it up. You can power it up and do everything like that. Do you know the power is in the wall and the wires are back there in the wall? We know that. But if you never plug it in, it doesn't matter. The power is not going to jump out at you. And so some of our young people, if they don't plug into us, if we don't make ourselves available to them, that's when we lose our doctors or lawyers or oceanographers. That's when we lose them. And when we lose them, we have nobody to carry on the legacy. And the word comes down like they ain't no good. So now they don't this, I'm talking about a new kind of systemic approach that we need to take to the Black history lifestyle. Forget the month. We've been doing that for so long, Black History Month, and it worked well. I'm grateful for those who thought about it. I'm grateful for those who participated in it. But there comes a time when we need to grow past. Like grow past, if you have a fruit tree in your garden, when it was young, it only gave you so much fruit. But because you nourished it and nurtured it, and it kept on growing, and gave you more fruit, more fruit, more fruit. The whole Black history ideology need to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So we're not repeating in any way, shape, or form the things that our great forefathers, and let me say again, I thank our forefathers. I love the fact that they did all that. I love the fact that they would say, listen, even if you hurt me, even if you kill me, I'm trying to make a way for people that will be coming along after me. And I want my grandson, my granddaughter, I want my great, and even people I don't know, I want life to be better for them. Why? Because because I tell you why. When Adam saw Eve, when Adam saw Eve, he looked at this beautiful woman and God did not tell him anything. Adam simply said, she is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Now, when you become bone of somebody's bone and flesh of somebody's flesh, okay, whatever happens to that person over there happens to you. It happens to you. So if we could just live by that ideology, by that motif and say, listen, that person over there that I don't know, that I've never seen, they are just another part of me that's living outside of me that I've never met. If I hurt, they hurt. When they hurt, I hurt. And we can get that kind of idea into our heads about this African American movement. It is not a month-long thing. It is a movement. Movement means that there is traction, always something, always going on positive. When we have a new goal in mind, that's when we get the traction moving and we can say things like, we shall overcome. Remember some of the, go back to the old slavery days, every song had a message in it. We shall overcome someday. It's not just some lyrics that stuff is so filled with it doesn't pump people up. It gives you a sense of purpose. We shall overcome. But we got to say to ourselves, in order for you and me to overcome, we've got to say we are dissatisfied with where we are. You cannot overcome something that you're satisfied with because there is no overcoming. There is no movement. Nothing like that. Oh, Tracy, well, this is why we need to continue to teach Black and Native Americans. Chris, I'm glad you included them because somehow we don't even talk about Native Americans. Think of it. History's main purpose is to ensure that we do not repeat negative events and outcomes. Thank you so much. That is so true. That's so true. But if we can, if I can let you get into my mind to teach me that I'm no good, and I've never heard anybody that can counter that, I will continue thinking I'm no good. What do no good people do? No good things. That's what no good people do. No good things. And this is what I'm saying. Thank you for that. So very powerful. And guess what, Tracy? You just made an amazing point right there. Black people, Native Americans. Now we have an alliance. I love it. Now we have an alliance. When we have an alliance with somebody, guess what? Our numbers are broadening. Our view is broadening. Our focus is broadening. Our purpose is broadening. We can reach our goals when we have an alliance. When we have an alliance. It is so important that we have an alliance. So important. With other people, e.g., our oppressors do not care where you were born. They just look at your color. Oh, LNG. You've been reading some stuff. Therefore, Blacks need to do better in working together. Yes. Thank you for that. So let me go back to Adam and Eve. Adam said, looking at Eve. And the Bible does not say that God told Adam where Eve came from. Because old dude was sleeping. He woke up. The Bible does not say that they had a conversation. He just simply woke up and said, oh, she is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, working together, doing everything together. Why? Because whatever happens to my bone over there happens to me. And yes, LNG, when we can work together like that, there is no fragmentation within the system. Fragmentation starts here, like right in the head, like right here. When I'm fragmented here, that's when I'm starting looking at you, thinking to myself that you think you're better than me, and so I'm going to show you who's better than. No, that's fragmentation. We need to have, we need to come together and sit with each other and support with each other. And if you got a loaf of bread, share it. share it. If you have one slice of bread, cut it in as many pieces as there are people to get a piece of that bread. Okay? And everybody will eat. And everybody will smile and say, we did the best we could. We did the best we could. But we don't have that idea. Now, if I don't have a loaf of bread or a slice of bread, I'm going to come rob you of your bread so that you can feel what I don't want to feel. Because I'm going to eat your loaf, your slice of bread now so that I don't have to feel that. And I leave you, my brother, feeling what I'm trying to escape from. Now, that don't make sense unless I don't care about the other part of me that's living outside. Oh, I can't say this enough. We are all the other part of us living outside of ourselves. Wherever I go, you go. Wherever you go, I go. Whatever happens to you happens to me. Why? Because we are inseparable. We are the other part. And the thing about it is this, if it's like having two legs. Okay, you listen. If you want to run, you need to mobilize both legs. My brother over there, my sister over there, wherever you are my other leg. But if I don't have the other leg, I'm going to be hopping around, just hopping. And every time you hop, you come down, your knees, your ankle, your hips, your back, your neck, your head hurts every time you come down on the ground like that. As opposed to having a nice smooth ambulation. That's what we really need. That's what we really need. You know. So it's amazing that we know that we can talk about this stuff. And so this is what I'm saying. We need to reframe this. This is not Black History Month. It is a movement. It must be seen as a movement. If we don't see it as a movement, we've lost our purpose. Right? Because we think we're stagnant. We think that Lord, listen, I just want to get to this. I just want to get to this rung of the ladder. If I can just get to this rung of the ladder, I'll be satisfied. Look, there are 25 other rungs going on up there. If you went to listen, last time I went to the airport and I need to get to my gate, I wasn't satisfied and I have to go upstairs. And one of those times the escalator wasn't working. I didn't want to go. I don't know where the elevator was. But I didn't say, well, listen, I got to get to my gate. And so therefore, man, if I just stand on the first rung of this step, I'm fine. No, man, what? No. I got to keep on pushing until I get my goal. Our goal should be, how can we need to get, when it comes to socialization like that, we need to get rid of the I. The only time we should use the word I is, I will do this so that we can. You hear what I just said, right? I should, because I have the capacity to do this so that we can, because we don't have the same capacity and same ability. So when my ability, okay, is more than yours, and you have an ability that's more than mine, we now come together and create a coalition, like Tracy was saying, between the Blacks and the Native Americans. Things are different, and so we should try as hard as we can. Because this is a real war. This is a real war. This is a movement, and we're not going to get anywhere if we are comfortable talking about the greatness of the past. And that it has ran its course. We should never forget those people and what they have done, because of them, we are where we are. But we need to say, listen, we don't know how much longer we're going to be here as individuals. We don't know how much longer we're going to be here as a society. And so therefore, what do I want? What I want is for, is for the best thing, the best outcome. So, man, 1619, a group of 20 20 African captives were brought to Point Comfort, Virginia. They fought. They were initially treated as indentured servants. You know what indentured servants are, right? There are people who are treated with some degree of respect to try to win you over, to some degree, so you don't become rebellious. Yeah, so you don't become indentured servants. You are a part of the society as such, okay? So you become these indentured servants, but over time, slavery became a legally codified system of the American colony. It was legalized not because of us. It was legalized because it fits the purpose of those who needed indentured servants. And so because of the indentured servants, let's go back to the Bible. When the children of Israel was multiplying, the Bible said, Pharaoh said, listen, let's put taskmaster over these people, because peradventure they become so much that they become more than we are. They will join hands with the enemies that will come back and fight us. And that's what I'm talking about here. That's what I'm talking about. We don't have to fight like that. We fight with our brains. The energy that we use to go out and fight and kill and burn and do all this kind of stuff and cuss and fuss and do all this kind of, we should be saying to ourselves, how can we get together and create something that will do what? We don't need to go after people. We need to go after, the function of what they're doing for us. And the problem is we go after people and we get blown out of the water every time. We are only like about where is it here? Okay, listen. Additionally, in 2023, about 11% of the U.S. population were, no, I don't want to get to that yet. But we are still a minority. Okay, 6'5". It's hard to reach your true desires, goals, when we are not the same ones that made the game. Absolutely. Rules will always change to benefit those that created the game. Yes, absolutely. I could not agree with you more. And here is what happens too. I thank you for that. I thank you for that. Because we're seeing some of that even now. One of the most dangerous things that society is doing to our young black men is to go play football. Let me soak in a minute. To go play football. You run up and listen. I was pretty good at track. So the teachers would say, hey man, your coach needs you to go and practice. The coach needs me to go and practice, of course, 14, 15, 16, I was great, man. I didn't have to sit down and listen to any of that stuff. But then that stuff turned around and bit me later on because I was not educated and prepared to go and do college courses. I was not prepared for that. Why? Because they taught me what to do something that pleased them, which in essence over the long period of time that I didn't know at 15, 16 would hurt me. Football. There is a slavery mentality towards football. You know what I'm saying? And they get paid good money. But they know that maybe some of these young men, okay, they have not been educated here and how do I do what I need to do with the money? Yeah, I can make money. And people say, make a touchdown, you're great, everything is great. That is what? That is pleasing the master. When we make a touchdown, when we do all these great things, but we've never been told how to. Do you have a financial advisor? Do you have a financial advisor? Are you saving your money? Or are you just blowing your money because you got a big fat check coming in at the end of the month? And so we need to be very, very careful because it is a kind of mental slavery when we put people in a place but never teach them how to grow out of where they are and become free so that they can become owners, not necessarily of football, but they can become owners of their own minds. They can become owners of their mindset. It is so important that they can do that. Because once you own your mind, you own yourself. But when somebody has owned this little big nugget right here, when they own that, this lump of stuff on the top of your neck, when they own that, they own everything about you. And they teach you how, and they praise you. They give you a bonus here and there. Man, these bonuses are good now. I can go out and do all this kind of stuff. But where is the long-term efficacy of all of this? Where is it going? Where's it going? I don't even want to talk about. I want to talk about the legacy of our young black people. Prisons, and that's all I'm going to say. Prisons, cemeteries. Yes. Remember, I talked about preachers, teachers, doctors, lawyers, airline pilots, oceanographers. Remember, I talked about that. There's a whole bunch of our young people who could have been that, but they're in the grave, locked up, robbing us of the capacity. Because once your enemy, or once people you think is your enemy, get to the point where they have self-control, you now have a new battle on your mind. A brand new battle on your mind. And it makes no sense for us. And sometimes the short-term gratification is so sweet that we're not thinking about the long-term negative effects we're having. I'm talking about Black history. Now, I forget the month. Black History Movement is a movement to listen. If we do Black History Month, then all you're saying, I just need to think and breathe 1 month out of the year. Just 1 month. And I go into this crazy space for the other 11 months. If we think that, and I'm not downplaying, I'm not decrying. All I'm saying here is that we need to get to a place where we can move on from where we are and create a greater space here so that we can become the kind of people that want not to be militants. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's not the kind of fight we're saying. Fight with your brain, That's what I'm saying. So when we do that, we can create new vistas, new things out there. We can become the people who are creating things that make sense to us. Because slavery happened, okay, and now there's neo-slavery. We don't need to be a part of that because nobody's shackling us unless we go do something crazy. And please do not create your own prison in your mind. Please do not. Those of us that are locked up in our own mental prison here, it's time for, hear what I'm saying. Those of us that are locked up here in our mind, it's time for something that is so legal, you won't believe what I'm about to say. It's time for a prison break. And the cops won't come get you. The warden won't send nobody after you. The dogs won't come. Because a prison break is just a shift in the way you think. It's just a shift in the way that you're thinking. And when you get to the point where you say, I'm going to create a shift, it's only because you're tired of where you are. If you're not, listen, nobody stopped doing things that they enjoy. That I know. Nobody. And so maybe we enjoy where we are so much that we are not willing to do what? To make a move. We're not willing to become a little bit discombobulated. We're not willing to become a little bit uncomfortable. Well, listen, get uncomfortable. This has got nothing to do with being warriors. It has everything to do with self-control. Please, self-control is what it is. And we cannot do that if we continue to say we came this far by faith and then stop having faith to move forward. The great things that our forefathers have done, great. We need to make sure that we don't waste all of their influence, all of their behavior, everything they did. We need to make sure, even though they're not here to know that now, but we need to make sure that the stepping stones that they made for us will continue to lead us to go to greater heights. We need to know that. We need to do that. Because that's what they wanted. They're not here now. But what we're going to do, somebody give you a gift and you're just going to wait around for another person to give you another gift? No. Take the gift and say, what can I do with this gift? If somebody gifted me with this, who can I gift with some of this? That's it. It's not rocket science stuff I'm talking about. I'm talking about the African American movement 24/7, 365. That's what I'm talking about. It might be somewhat of a military kind of a ideology, but if it works and you're not hurting nobody, but you're growing yourself, come on, why not? It's something that we can all jump on. All of us can jump on this. So the ships way back when, the ships that they brought our people on, and I'm going to cut it out now. I'm going to I've been held you a long time, and I'm having just way too much fun. I'm having just way too much fun, way too much. But I'm just hoping that with all the energy I put into this, that you will now say, what can I do? And that is the question. It's not what can they do. And when every person say, what can I do? Then it comes to what are we doing? Because every I that joins with another I becomes a we, and it becomes a us, and the movement continues to grow. The movement continues to grow. I think it's a great idea just to do that. So as we go down through this this Black History Movement Month, that's what I'm going to call it. It's a movement. If it's moving, it's not static. Nothing, listen, the Red Sea, the Dead Sea, nothing grows in the Dead Sea. Why? Because it's static. It doesn't come in, it doesn't go out. The water is just there, static. You want your mind to be static? Is that what you want? No, I don't think so. I really don't think you just want your mind to be static. It is something that has movements, and it's something that has vision, and it's something that will take you places in your lives, and all of us, let's build a house, and everybody's we're gonna build a house. And I'll tell you one of the fastest way to build a house is if everybody take a brick. Everybody just stand in line just to put your brick in this house. Brick it. Instead of sitting by and watching two or three people lay out the bricks. And everybody do that. When with that, all hands together. Many hands make light work. It's all of these things that we've got to do, but we've got to consolidate and come to each other. And I'm going to tell you this, and then I'm going to check out of here. What we need to do is to see this go back to Adam and Eve. You are the other part of me that's living outside of me. You're not just my brother. You're not just my sister. You are the other part of me. When you hurt, I hurt. When I hurt, you hurt. That's what it means, So we get involved with each other at that real deep personal level. That's what we really need. You are tell people, tell somebody, tell yourself, look in the mirror, have a mirror moment and say, what am I going to do? This person outside of the mirror, looking at the person inside the mirror, thinking about the person outside the mirror, talking to the person inside the mirror about the person out here. You see, start here. Let me do it again. This person here outside the mirror. I'm looking at the person in the mirror, which is really a reflection. Thinking about this person outside the mirror, which is the real deal. Talking to the person in the mirror, which I'm talking to myself in there, about this person out here. And when we can do that, we discover that we can begin to shape our minds in a very positive way. Very positive way. I thank you for just hanging out with me tonight. We're going to continue. We're going to continue throughout this month. Throughout this month to make sure that I get the rest of my message out, because there are too much fractured components in the African American movement. Too much. Too much. It's very selfish. It's just too much. Too much. We cannot do this and survive. We cannot do this and win the race. We can't do this and get to where we want to get to. We cannot do this and become we become we're gonna stay stuck. We can't do this. It's time for us now. Time for us to stop talking about the past. Yes, I'm gonna say it again. We are so grateful for everybody that did it, but listen. We need to be, if time and life lasts, we need to be the people who in 20, 30 years from now going to be referencing and say, man, they did this so that we can be where we are. Yeah. So we need to be the reference point. For some people, we really do. As opposed to be referencing other people. No, we need to be the reference point. I guarantee you, there is so much information you got inside of you. You just need somebody to validate you. Yeah. And to acknowledge you and to let you know how precious you are as a person. Please do not measure your personal value by your output. What you do, where you do, how you do. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. So I thank you. Be blessed. Be blessed. Be blessed. And we will see you on next Monday at the same time. But until then, please, you know what you need to do. You need to be a part of this program. As a matter of fact, just like, follow, share, and subscribe. It, okay. Like, follow, share, and subscribe. If you really got anything out of this, please, 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 please like it, follow, and share this thing because there are a number of people who just need to hear this. Okay. And I'm hoping that when they hear it, they'll come back next week and get it for themselves. Okay. And so to be a part of the show, many of you out there, there's a whole lot of you out there tonight, you can come on and be a part of the show. Just email drkitspeaks@gmail.com. And we want you to come on and tell you. This is an amazing month. Oh, it's going to be more than a month. For you to come and tell your story about the African American movement. The movement. Great people are doing some great things out there. And we need to know about that. Okay. So thanks much. Be good. May God bless you and keep you. And I hope to see you again on next Monday at 6 with the Shake Up with Dr. Kid. All right. Be blessed. Bye-bye now.